уважаемые гости, dear ladies and gentlemen. Благодарю вас за то, что вы пришли на нашу сессию, посвященную тематике исламского финансирования. Меня зовут Madina Tukulova, я возглавляю направление исламских финансов МФЦА.
Islamic Finance, AFC, and I will moderate the session on the Islamic financing. I would like to kindly ask our speakers to come to the floor with those who will discuss the Islamic financing. First of all will be Mirlan Taymurzayev, CEO Al-Safi Bank. Apart from him, Yahya Rehman, Global Lead Islamic Finance Advisor, Islamic Development Bank Institute, Farhat Sarsekeyev, Chairman of the Management Board of DAMU, and also Arman Batayev, CEO and Founder, GWM Capital. In general, I would like to commence this session from appreciating our key partners, Freedom Broker, Gas Minerals, and others in supporting Islamic financing. Today's session we will have in Russian and English languages, and if you need, you can ask for headsets and other equipment for being able to receive the simultaneous translation. In general, Islamic finance and development itself is quite actively developed, and we do see the huge demand on Islamic financing products. We do have continuous growth in people who are asking about financial instruments in Islamic financing, both financial and investments. And in Kazakhstan, we do have developed legislative framework, and we do have emerging financial institutions in this regard. In general, I would like to mention that we need to learn more on financial institutions which are developing in Kazakhstan since 2017. They could become the drivers of further development, not only of Kazakhstan, but the whole region itself. We have quite interesting speakers today, representatives of the banking fields, investment field, and also quasi-governmental sector and international institutions. The key message I would like to pay your attention at and hear from our colleagues is the following one: what we can do in order to have further development of Islamic financing on the perspective of real economic sector, second of all, promoting SMEs, and in general, Islamic finance development for retailing. Because we are the simple consumers. How we can finance based on the principles of Sharia and which products we can use for this. I would like to commence today's panel from the very good news. We will have two of them. Right after the session, I would like to kindly ask you to stay in order to discuss what key players we have in the field of Islamic financing, and also we will have quite interesting ceremony. That is why right after the session, please remain on your seats if you are interested. First, pleasant news is connected with Arman, who is representing COGW Capital. Today, we launched Junior Mining Funds, which is based on Islamic financing principles. Congratulations. That is why, connected with the congratulations, I have first questions. Junior mining and Islamic financing, please. Thank you so much for invitation, and so we have a certain correlation with Astana Finance Days. We've been able to launch our Future Minerals Junior Mining Fund, which is the fund based on the real assets. In general, the Islamic finances for funding of real assets. We cannot change money to money. We need to have a certain asset, and the key profile of this fund based on private equity. And we took FETA, created the Sharia board, and I would like to thank our board who came today. Here we refer to the greatest professionals, not only in our region, but worldwide. Alham, Sharia Services, Abrahim Saab.
You are here with us today. Это вот ученики такие Усмани, в принципе, те, кто...
Those who acknowledged with Islamic finances are acknowledged with the key standards they represent, and here we have part of the board from the Kyrgyzstan, Pakistan. They had the flight, particular arranged to this event, and we know that this particular sector is not financed by anyone, because that refers to the high risks. We need to have professional and institutional investors for this purpose.
Therefore, banks do not fund it. Therefore, retailers do not provide their funding. And as a result, this sector is underfinanced at the initial stage. That's why we decided to support this project until more major projects can enter the market. I'm so sorry, I speak for quite a long time, and I'm going to stop. Thank you very much, Arman. On one hand, we see that new financial institutions are open and new investment projects are available. And during the last few years, people ask questions starting from 2009, and the law was adopted, and back in 2017, AIFC was established. And we see that demand is huge. And I believe the next question is to you, Mirlan, as a practitioner which works in Islamic finance for a very long time. Now you are the head of Islamic Bank on the territory of AIFC. Generally, what are the most topical issues? Actually, the Russian word is not really relevant. In English, it sounds challenges. So please let me use this word. What challenges do you envisage? Good afternoon, distinguished participants of the forum. For us, it's a great honor to be a partner of Astana Finance Days. It's one of the key dialogue platforms of the region, and we sincerely appreciate the opportunity to share our opinion and find common solution for our financial sector. Please let me briefly tell us about our bank. Safi Bank, as was mentioned by the moderator, is the only Islamic bank on the territory of IFC. We work in accordance with international financial requirements. Despite our young age, we conducted a huge work to deserve the international trust. During the last several years, we already have partnership with more than 20 banks all over the world. For example, Commercial Bank of Dubai and other Islamic banks. Despite the great success on international market, we see a lot of challenges on Kazakhstani market. We see that AIFC, on the basis of AIFC, we see the lack of connection to digital system. For example, second-tier banks do not have separate financial operations. In other words, we cannot exercise and implement all the operations, all the products that we have based on AIFC. So what is the solution in this situation? We believe that this problem can be solved through introducing these rules on the basis of AIFC. We work on making our voices to be heard. Several times we initiated the discussions of these challenges in the Parliament of Kazakhstan, and they also visited our office in AIFC, which is important because we see importance from their side. Policymakers recognize the potential of Islamic banks, and in order to and the following scale expansion of Islamic banks will provide a lot of advantages to the economy of the country. Therefore, there is a need to include the status of Islamic banks in the new law of the Republic of Kazakhstan. It will help us to be integrated in the international financial system, and we plan for the nearest future set of discussions with the Parliament in order to discuss our propose our suggestions with other international institutions. And I would like to know that it's not only the position of Safi banks. A lot of other institutions support our initiatives. We act in a single manner where in order to express the interests of the whole market. Speaking about opportunities that was partially mentioned by Madina, there are colossal opportunities for AIFC. The general potential for Kazakhstan is 7 trillion tenge. It's a huge demand, unmet demand, which is unfortunately doesn't receive a lot of attention. We see a lot of limitations, but we consider them as a stimulus for further development, and we hope that jointly with policymakers, AIFC, and Association of Islamic Finances, we will successfully resolve these issues. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mirlan. We also firmly believe in it, and we will do everything possible to do that. The next question is to the representative of quasi-state sector. Take into account everything mentioned and take into account the huge role of DAMU in the development of small and medium enterprises in Kazakhstan. How do you see the contribution of your foundation in the development of Islamic finances?
Assalamu alaikum всем.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'm so happy that we have such a big platform for having a discussion of Islamic financing. I would like to give you the brief background how we reached the Islamic finance in DAMU. Back into 2012, we tend to attract findings in Kazakhstan on Islamic financing. First subsidiary form being Islamic subsidiary fund. Unfortunately, we've been not able to reach the common ground within the agreements on the conditions, but we've been ready to work at the market, and that is why we've been in need to have allocation of our own funds for Islamic financing. Back into 2019, Al-Fiaq Bank, the other partners, been ready to provide the financing in priority areas on Islamic financing. We adapted our products for them and established the separate passport of the product. As you know, EJAR is the leading bank, and so throughout the two key institutions we launched financing, and I consider it quite successful, in fact, due to the point that 16 billion tenge, which were allocated to this market, in effect resulted into 25 billion tenge for loans, and we've had quite interesting projects. For instance, in October, we've constructed the October ceramic on production of ceramic tiles. Alfia Bank supported it actively, and now they produce 23 types of ceramic tiles. So in fact, we supported significant projects, more than 70 of them being considered, and we do see that the demand on Islamic finance is quite high. Based on ChatGPT information, if I will believe in it, 85% in Central Asia, people in Central Asia are quite interested. We do see the classic banking system, and at the same time we do see the Islamic banking facilities. However, if we will consider certain challenges, some of them are the following one. First of all, for the Kazakhstan, that is a new direction, new focal point. That is why we have very few knowledge about this. Based on ChatGPT, only very few amount of population knows about the Islamic finances, and 45% of population is not aware at all of what is it. The Islamic finance, for Islamic finances, it is hard to cover all the regions in the Kazakhstan. It is developed only in Almaty, in Astana cities, due to they have certain financial institutions. And as I know, the key regulator for plans to allow for banks to establish Islamic regulatory bodies. If we'll see this happening, we will have very good development in our region of Islamic finances, because, as I mentioned before, we do have a demand on this, and we will see the real development. Referring to DAMU itself, you know that we cover SMEs and financing. Unfortunately, we are not able, due to the specificity of work, to cover everything, because we will not have enough of funds to cover all enterprises. And as for today, we work on 5 prioritative sectors, industries, including tourism, education, transport, production, and within this industries, we're ready to work through the Islamic funding channels for the financing, and we're ready for having further expansion of our tools. And the key proof of this is agreement which we signed today with IsDB. They entered the guarantee fund which has been established, and they are the part of the cooperative fund for the moment, and they receive B2B guarantee. By the way, we reformulated this guarantee, which became much more beneficial for the users. And we hope to have further stimulation of the loan market, especially within the small and medium business. These intentions we do have, and we are ready to use the Islamic financing tools. Apart from this, we are also ready to promote the classic tools of funding, because we do see that there is a demand among people who are more willing to take the real money for their projects. And obviously, we need to promote the Islamic financing, and the key channel of this is considered as the very good one. As you know, we do have certain requirements and obligations for representatives of SMEs. Sometimes we ought to find them in Islamic finance. The fines they pay are allocated for further societal work, and that is the positive moment. Thank you, Farhat. And the very brief question, because you attached the point that you will continue to work in the direction of Islamic finances. You mentioned the Kazakh jar company and DCBF office. We have the representatives of the AIFC, which are willing to use this opportunity. Is it real or not? It is, but we do have certain requirements. We cannot give it to everyone who wants to use them. We have certain requirements to have the market experience, to have reporting, well-built reporting system, also the requirements on the capital. If you are not in compliance with these requirements, unfortunately, we are not able to give you this opportunity to use Islamic finances. Once again, we do have certain requirements, and in general, we consider this. I think that will be positively assessed by the market participants, including AIFC, and we do have the quite a lot new market players.
So welcome to Kazakhstan once again. We're happy to see you here. So all of us, we know that, the role of AIFC, and I think Farhat mentioned that GPT chat said a lot of things about, current development of Islamic finance in Kazakhstan, and this is because of the report that we launched last year, Islamic Finance Market Survey. So right now, my question, what is the IsDB and IsDB's role, in the development of Islamic finance in Kazakhstan, and your next strategy vision in order to promote Islamic finance here? So I'm not talking only about AIFC, but overall, Central Asia.
Thank you, Madina, and let me start by thanking you for inviting us to the Astana Finance Days. I think Astana Finance Days has become one of the premier events of the financial calendar, the annual financial calendar. On behalf of the Islamic Development Bank, we have had a long-standing relationship with both Kazakhstan and the region. As you know, the Islamic Development Bank is a multilateral financial institution with 57 member countries, and we have 5 countries in the Central Asian region which are part of the Islamic Development Bank. And one of the main mandates of the institute that I represent is the development of the enabling environment for Islamic finance. And in terms of an MDB, the Islamic Development Bank is the only multilateral development bank which has Islamic finance as part of its strategic vision. And we have a very strong belief that Islamic finance can complement in terms of resource mobilization, in terms of financial inclusion, and in terms of financing the sustainable development in the region. Particularly our engagement with Kazakhstan, if you recall, we did the first Islamic finance country report back in 2016. And we've always been involved at engagement at numerous levels. So at the strategic and policy level, we have been helping both Kazakhstan and the region, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyz Republic, Tajikistan, in terms of developing the enabling environment. So putting the foundations for the legal and regulatory framework for Islamic finance, I think it's very important. And we're really pleased to see the progress that the AIFC has made in terms of creating a holistic enabling environment. So not just the law, but creating the institutions, creating the arbitration center, and the court. I think that is a critical prerequisite for the development of the sector. And the progress overall in the region has been great. You mentioned about the recent report that we supported the AIFC in terms of doing the assessment of the market. We also jointly published with the Eurasian Development Bank a report on the future of Islamic finance in Central Asia. And Kazakhstan is one of the most promising markets when it comes to Islamic finance. And overall, there's a huge potential in the region, untapped potential. I mean, some of the colleagues mentioned about, some of the issues and challenges. But if you look at it, developing an industry it takes time and effort. You need to put the building block. And I sometimes describe that it's like a pyramid. So you need to have at the top the political will, which we see. And if you have the right political will, then it can translate into action. And the next thing that you need is at the policy and institutional and strategic level, you need to have the enabling environment. So the legal framework, the regulatory framework, supervisory framework, the Sharia governance, to have the institutions with the right policies and procedures to create a level playing field. Then what is very important is at the institutional level, you need to have the players who need to understand the market, have the right products which are priced appropriately, have the flexibility, and address the real market needs, because Islamic finance obviously focuses on the real economy. And that's why even if you look at the IsDB portfolio for Kazakhstan, it's mainly around agriculture, infrastructure, green economy. I think we're currently involved in one of the largest projects for about $1 billion on climate resilient water resources project for Kazakhstan, and likewise in the region. So I think this is very important. And then the next thing is to have the human capital for this. And I think you cannot emphasize enough the importance, because not only do you need the human capital to run these financial institutions, whether they are banks or takaful or microfinance or leasing companies, so you need to have people who understand the nuances of Islamic finance, of Sharia compliance. And then last but not least, and this is something else that my colleague just mentioned, is the public awareness. So for people to know about Islamic finance, to know about Islamic finance instruments, and to know what are the benefits and what are the pros and cons of that. So I think the Islamic Development Bank has been active on all these fronts. So we're engaging with the government, we are providing technical assistance in terms of the enabling environment, we have capacity building initiatives, and we do reports and we try to raise public awareness. So I hope that partially answers the question.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your answer. Arman, наверное, хотела бы...
Arman would like to come back to you with the question regarding the general overview of the market. What kind of situation you've had, what you've used in order to have a further development of Islamic finances and investment products, and the brief commentary from you on the Sukuk securities. After the panel session, we will have quite an interesting ceremony connected with Sukuk. But in general, regarding the Sukuk, there is not enough of having the opportunity to have the issuance of Islamic securities. That could be the good opportunity for the small, medium enterprises. I know that you have certain experience in this regard. Please, could be brief. Yes, in fact, within the last year, we've presented this topic, and in fact, in our auditorium we have much less people, and as you can see today, we have much more people in comparison with the previous year. That is the great indicator of the good changes. And in fact, we issued several securities, including ITF compliant, including Sukuk securities. We will announce the report today. And the most important for the SMEs, they've acquired opportunity to issue Sukuk Ijaba. They considered the consultation paper for the 36 month. We do have representatives of the stock market here. Thank you so much they allowed to have 37 months, but the key problem of the Islamic financing connected with the point that Islamic finance considered that you need to move forward the asset itself. And as we remember, then we have the movement of the assets. We are having the VAT, and no one came closer to the Islamic securities or finances itself due to the complex processes. We are not the people who want to have a lot of issues connected with that. That was the key challenge we've had before, and also we've had leasing to have a relief on taxes within the 37 months, and it is used actively in both directions on using the opportunities in tax code, and the second point to make the assets separate to the SPC. In the AIFC, we do have the project campaigns to have the separate asset and allowing Sukuk holders to have it itself. That was the key point. When we started to have this transfer and movement, you've faced the problem of VAT. For the current point, we have the tax relief for the 37 months. Before that, we've had 12 months. Then we requested 36, and we've been allowed to have 37 months for the tax relief to issue the Sukuk securities. And I do see that this is working from the 1st of July. And we've been the first of the consultants and those who provided the advisory services. And we covered more than 6 billion tenge involved into this projects, and I hope that you will have the same achievements for Sukuk. Yeah, thank you so much. We've been able to introduce and depict the certain issues we have in connection with the taxation policy, and that is the key point, to make it available and to explain certain specificities to masses. And we hope that people will use Islamic financial instruments actively. I do see that within the last year, 3 partners required the license on providing Islamic finances, and that is the kind of symbiosis we have between the construction companies as has been built abroad. And so with the brother Ibrahim, we've been able to learn how it happens in other countries in Central Asia, including Uzbekistan. For instance, we have the request on the share, and then in cooperation with investors, the person who wants to acquire the asset, they can have the very close cooperation. And the key challenge being the work with representatives of the taxation field.
I hope I answered your question. Generally, yes. I believe you answered not only my question, but other simultaneous questions. Just several minutes left. I would like to ask a very short question to each of our distinguished panelists. I would like you to tell us very briefly, what is your vision of Islamic finances in Kazakhstan? Maybe just briefly you can outline the key challenge, and what is the reference vision for you and your personal opinion on that. Thank you very much for your brilliant question, Madina. Speaking about the future of Islamic finances, in my opinion, the future of Islamic finances is a reliable tool which will give to Kazakhstani entrepreneurs and citizens equal and open opportunities to participate in the construction of an economy, and at the same time being loyal to their beliefs and to their religion. As based on different assessments, we see that in Kazakhstan there is a significant disproportion in supply and demand. We see that we have more than 2 million practicing Muslims living in Kazakhstan, and the Muslim services, there are trillions of Muslim services, and there are only 3 Islamic banks on the territory of IFC. Therefore, we are ready to receive the following proposals from DAMU to develop entrepreneurship activity in Islamic services in order to address this disproportion and attract in this activity those citizens which, due to their religious beliefs, can not use traditional services. We can provide tax exemptions for Islamic services, Islamic entrepreneurs, and other exemptions, and I believe it will provide a lot of opportunities to our country. Thank you very much, Mirlan. Please be short. Next panelist, your answer, please be short. I believe that those who received Islamic finances license sitting in this hall. I believe if they see the initiative, a lot of new products will appear on the market, and most importantly, they will explain these products, because first of all, if you have noticed, I believe 80–90% of all the cafes on Kazakhstan, they are halal. Why? Because there is a huge demand in halal cafes and restaurants. And we need to explain that halal is not only about food, it's also about personal finances. And I believe then when we will explain this to people, then we will see huge interest. I know that there are emerging brokers, different IPI solutions, and I believe that the main drivers are going to be construction companies, because construction in the country where there is a demographical boom, they are the key drivers. Construction companies are the key drivers, and through Islamic agreements, they can provide reliable future. Thank you very much. The same question is to you, Farhat. How do you envisage the future of Islamic finances? Certainly, there is a future of Islamic finances. The majority of our population in Kazakhstan are Muslims. Therefore, there is a demand. In terms of us, we as development institutions, our goal is to cover each and every one, and our share in corporate funding is more than 15%. Therefore, the portfolio that we are responsible for is 3.2 trillion tenge. And we have very narrow direction. And speaking about Islamic finances, there are challenges, and we need to overcome them through providing explanation, information to our citizens. And we know that still there is a lack of personnel in this area, lack of human resources. We have Jara Leasing and other key partners. We see difficulties with Sharia Council, and as we believe they are not accessible to Kazakhstan, I believe that's a bottleneck. Sharia Council should be open and accessible to everyone. And the last thing is regulatory challenges. If we will allow banks Islamic funding, then through SBC, and we will open Islamic desk, and the existing institutions are quite small, market share is low, and if we will provide top 5 banks, their share is 60%, and if the same 5 banks will work on Islamic funding, then our Islamic funding will be developed much better, because these banks, as you know, they have very strong. We have very strong association of finances, and as a result, the demand itself will grow. There are entrepreneurs which want further development, but due to lack of access, they do not implement Islamic finance tools. I think Mirlan has something to add. Yes, I would like to disagree in terms of the lack of awareness about Sharia law,
which in majority came from Pakistan region, and it proves that we have very few of them. But within the last year, I've seen that we have had 3 ISPs which provide the services of Shariah, and I do see representatives from this field, and that helps a lot to promote the enlightenment in this field. Thank you so much for fulfilling. Yes, of course, in AIFC, we do have an opportunity to register and acquire the licenses as the Sharia consultant. And on the website, we do have the public register, including a list of these companies.
As an IFI, what is your vision for future of Islamic finance in Kazakhstan?
Thank you, Madina. I think my vision of Islamic finance for not just Kazakhstan, but the region and even, I would say, beyond that, is to have a robust, resilient, sustainable industry that is to serve the real economy and to serve the people. It's very important that the financial economy is there to serve the real needs of the economy, the real needs of the people, whether it's development, whether it's financial inclusion, whether it's access to resources, the SME sector. And I look at it holistically, so not just banking, but all the way from social finance, so zakat, awqaf, microfinance, SME, retail banking, and then capital markets. And that, if you allow me just a few seconds, I'm the last speaker, so I'm always strained for time, I think in terms of the opportunity, even in the opening session and the earlier sessions, there was a lot of emphasis on technology and the disruption that technology is going to bring, whether it's AI, whether it's big data. I think that offers a great opportunity for Islamic finance. Earlier, you know, in the previous decades, there was always this issue about the cost of Islamic finance being higher than conventional finance, its accessibility, not having enough market footprint. But I think technology and the disruption that the technology is causing is a great enabler for Islamic finance. And I hope that the financial institutions and Islamic finance players are able to grab this opportunity and leapfrog. Because, you know, when the industry is going to be disrupted, there's going to be huge opportunity for digital banks, for even in terms of Sharia, you know, robo-advisory, in terms of a new methodology of financial intermediation. And that is going to enable Islamic finance to learn from the experience of others and then penetrate into the market, which is untapped. So this is one thing. In terms of the challenges, I think, again, this has been said, enabling environment is very important, because whether it is investors or consumers, it's the responsibility of the regulators to protect their interest. And that is why regulators will need to be very efficient in terms of catching up with the modern developments, but also creating a level playing field for Islamic finance, so that Islamic finance is not at a disadvantage, whether it in terms of transactional costs, in terms of taxation, in terms of other treatment. And I think one of the challenges in Kazakhstan, I feel, is the dual system, where the AIFC is managing the Islamic finance, but the national regulator or the national bank does not have the comparative conducive environment for Islamic finance. So I think that is very important. And then again, technology is also an enabler in terms of awareness. So, you know, now you can go online and get, you know, training, capacity building. You can learn about Islamic finance and Sharia compliance. You can get the message out. So I think there's enormous opportunity. There are challenges, but I see the future of Islamic finance very bright in this region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Итак, завершение.
In conclusion, I would like to mention that, yes, in fact, we do see the certain challenges connected with the development of the Islamic finances, but it is cool to see that we do have the Islamic Financial Institute, and there are people behind it, those who are willing to have a further development of the fields in Kazakhstan for the different sectors, including corporate and private one. This promotes to having the huge network, which allows to open investment funds, launching the programs within the quasi-governmental field. And it is great to see that we do have support from the international institutions. And the key objective of this experience is to have the technical support from those who have achieved a lot. That is the key point. And so we need to understand that Islamic finance development depends not only from these people, but from you. Each of you can make a contribution in further development. You can demonstrate to the regulatory bodies, to government itself, that the Islamic finances are existing right now in Kazakhstan. They've been before, and we will keep them in the future. That is why I would like to attract your attention to make a contribution in promoting of Islamic financing. Please be open to get the advisory service from the financial institutions on Islamic financial products, because the future of Kazakhstan depends on you. For the moment, I would like to ask you to give the round of applause to our panelists. And I would like to kindly ask the speakers to have the family photo, and please do not leave this room, because we will have the ceremony of demonstration of Islamic securities in AIFC platform.
Да? Раз, два, три. Слышно, да? Пока у нас будут проходить небольшие приготовления, связанные с церемонией запуска.
For the moment, I would like to say that I want to have all the Islamic financial institutions to be able to have their time for presentation, but we have very limited amount of time. And in this regard, I would like to introduce the people who are in fact developing Islamic finances and economics of Kazakhstan within the framework of AIFC. Berik, we will commence from you. His company acquired the license on the platform of AIFC, which will promote the Islamic financial products within the framework of our framework. And please don't hesitate to reach him, to establish contacts, and to learn more about the products we provide. We acquired the license based on Islamic finances. We will develop in the classic form of Murabah on financing SMEs. Based on installments, and in most cases it's based on the small businesses and the part of the middle enterprises. We will try our best to develop in this regard. The next one, the partner within the Islamic finance and business, he has the interesting proposals based on the whole system itself, including Sharia consulting and the future of products of Islamic finances. A couple of words, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Very briefly, my name is Azat Uytibai. We have several directions. We received license on Islamic finances, the DAMU Islamic finances, and now we develop products in immovables, personal property. And we also have other Islamic products developed to construction, and now we develop all of these projects. And one more good news, just recently we launched our application iLab, and based on this app we can simplify the life of Muslims, and we collected different financial products, so a person can visit and see what products are allowed in accordance with Islamic law and which are not. Thank you very much. One more very good product which was approved this year within the framework of ITS. They launched the first index fund, Islamic index fund, and the price starts from $10. And what I like and what I actively use in one of the platforms, one of the brokers provide very good solution. You can present these funds as gifts. And this ITS Sharia fund, I would like to give an opportunity to Big Sultan. He represents this project. Please, the floor is yours. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Baydax. I represent. My name is Big Sultan. I represent Baydax project. We represent Islamic broker, giving access to international brokers based on ITS, as was mentioned by Madina. They first in the region launched this fund, ITSS, and they represent the companies which are fully compliant with Islamic law, 30 American and European companies. The price of ITF starts from $8 to $10. Apart from that, the fund is not taxable for the residents of the Republic of Kazakhstan, and within buybacks in all Islamic securities, we provide the Sharia-compliance index, including in methodology. Thank you very much. The market of Islamic finances grows. The number of products also grows. And now we would like to launch one more very interesting product. Distinguished guests, today within the framework of Astana Finance Day, we all witness very important moment for the industry of Islamic finances. Company Tab Finance, the participant of AIFC, launched the issuance of Sukuks with the total amount up to 2040. This attracted funds will be allocated to the development of retailers of the key products of the company. The program was approved by the independent council, Sharia Council EAC, which are also AIFC participant. It proves the full compliance with Sharia law. As a result of the joint work of professional regulators and partners united by a common goal, make Islamic services common, open, and accessible to the broader audience of investors. I would like to invite to the stage Aysel Mukajanova to present her welcoming address, CEO Astana International Exchange. Please, the floor is yours. Good afternoon, distinguished guests. I'm glad to greet you in the office of AIFC within the framework of Astana Finance Days. It's a landmark, one of the most important events for our center, and for us it's very honorable to see a lot of participants in each panel session. We see a lot of listeners. It means that it's not fortuitous. Today we launch trades on a Tayyab company, and I'm very honored because of 2 points. First, Tayyab are very client-oriented, and they're very active. 1.5 years ago, we started our work. Usually, the work is much more quick than within 1.5 years, but our work is up and down. In one day, we issue it. The second day, we do not issue it. That's why it's, in terms of the terms, it's up and down. I'm very glad that we succeeded and launched it. I would like to express my gratitude to Tayyab and to AIFC. Thanks for your passions, for your firm belief that we will finalize this project. And I would like to congratulate Daniel and others. And I'm confident that it's the first transaction, but not the least. It's not the last listing. And I'm confident that each next listing will be quicker and better, and you will not be disappointed in us. The next floor goes to Danyar Ospanov, the founder of Tayyab Finance. Please, the floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum, уважаемые друзья.
Assalamu alaikum, distinguished friends, colleagues, partners. Thank you. Please allow me to be very brief on what is Tayyab. In general, we are a fintech company, and we establish digital tools for our consumers, for our lovely clients. Everything is collected in one app. That is the whole financial service. We do have the digital cards and the payment cards with interesting functionality and design within all the requirements of Sharia. You may use your favorite devices, Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, Google Pay. We have all the integrations installed. One of the popular functions among our clients is the following one. When, for instance, you pay in Starbucks for coffee, you have 1 to 3% transferred to our foundation and sharing the assets to the crypto account. We have more than 3,000 users of our app, but during the last time we focused more on the Islamic finances. The thing we missed for a lot, we launched the Islamic financing on the auto purchase, and our company required the needed license for this purpose. We do have our autonomous structure, our credit loan framework, which been mentioned by other guys, including big data, AI. These are the systems we use daily, and our product itself is quite ordinary in terms of conditions. Our company won several prestigious awards. First of all is Visa, which acknowledged our success within the last several years, and the special proud connected with the investors, ventures, including the participants who represent our institution. We require such a precious award. For the partners, I would like to highlight Development Bank of Kazakhstan. That is the key partner. We implement different payment tools with the help of them. I will not draw attention to this point. Madina and previous speakers already provided all the necessary information on this point and market conditions. Here I refer to the thing we celebrate at the moment. That is the year-long program. We've had very comprehensive work for joint activities to comply with all the requirements, and jointly we register our campaign, and we plan to have the further expansion of the Islamic financing tools for our clients. And one more spoiler. Our retail Sukuk, quite interesting for the investors, with the bill of $4,000 or more. In general, it has been built in order to allow the people and investors to share our profit within the requirements of the Sharia. Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, I would like to thank you for your participation. Very soon we will launch our ceremony. Before they commenced, I would like to ask the CEO of International Exchange, Ajana and Daniel Respond, to come to the stage. Dear colleagues, I would like to congratulate the company finance with these achievements, and would like to wish the further achievements in Kazakhstan and beyond. The speaker is not using the mic. Translation is impossible. Now I would like to switch to ring the bell ceremony. Daniel, please, Asir and Madina, please come close to the button in order to launch the officially program on Islamic financial securities, Sukuk. Now we will launch the final countdown. I kindly ask you to stay for the family photo. And in the hall we've seen the real experts of the field. Please, if you want, you can join the family photo with our speakers. Please do not hesitate to come closer. If you allow me, a couple of words I would like to add to this wonderful ceremony. That is quite a heavy palm stone symbolizing the heavy work. The joint efforts applied together with our colleagues from the stock market, that is the debut ceremony for us on having financial institution tie up on within this framework. That is a very small step for humanity, as has been said, but the very important step for our company and the significant step forward for having a further development of the Islamic finances in the region.
Our company establishes new quality standards, new ethics and sustainability standards. We are proud that we are the only institution registered in AIFC in this area, and we believe that it's not the last milestone, it's just the beginning. And first of all, I would like to thank our distinguished colleagues from the stock exchange, ICM, Birjan and others. Birjan is the person which worked with us for more than 1 year, shoulder by shoulder. Azilbek drinks coffee. He's very glad. His work is very important. I would like to thank Freedom Broker. They're our consulting advisor, Ainur Jumadieva, and others, representatives of Freedom Finance, and our team for unwavering labor for the efforts. Thank you very much. Now the general family photo with all of you.
Уважаемые гости, благодарим всех за участие.
Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you for being here in our session devoted to the launch of Sukuk. Thank you.
Всем спасибо большое и ждем всех завтра на продолжение Astana Finance Days. Спасибо большое.
Thank you so much for being the part of this event. Thank you.